People are finally realizing the cool words that everyone is using, slang that makes them trendy, that they try to label as Gen Z speak.
Simply spend enough time on your phone and it won't take long before you hear words like fam, lit, or tea.
It's actually African American vernacular, or AAVE, or what it used to be called, Ebonics.
The language was often used to speak in plain sight, but not be understood by outsiders. Today, many of those words are identified as African American language, also known as Ebonics or AAVE, African American Vernacular English.
Black people have always known this, but I guess white media is just finding out that almost every slang word you hear originates in the black community.
And unk does not mean uncool. You know what's uncool? That you guys can't come up with your own slang. Back in the day, when I was growing up, you guys had some cool ass shit you would say. You're on thin ice, pal. Oops, I'm just gonna scooch right past you. Get a load of this guy.
Which has always been true, but with the arrival of social media, the second a word hits the internet, it gets ripped out of context, used on somebody else's video, and adopted as Gen Z speak.
The first word I want to help translate is chopped.
Yeah, I know Chopped. It's the show on the Food Network.
Never give up.
But it's hilarious that it took linguistics experts to actually recognize that Gen Z speak, the phrases and words they use as originated in the black community. It took experts to figure that out.
But a lot of the words dubbed as Gen Z slang can actually be traced back centuries to black culture.
But I'm Jew. Welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
It might seem like Gen Z has a whole different vocabulary compared to other generations. But a lot of the words dubbed as Gen Z slang can actually be traced back centuries to black culture.
Appreciation or appropriation, that's easy. It's appropriation because they don't give credit to the originators for anything that's stolen, whether it's style, dances, music, or the way we speak. How black culture is shaping Gen Z slang. How black culture has always shaped every generation's slang, music, and dress. Linguistics experts say many words and phrases coined by Gen Zers have roots in African American language that date back centuries.
NBC News correspondent Marquise Francis looked into the history of some of these phrases. Hi, Marquise. Nice to see you.
Of course, it would be a black person.
Hey guys, how you doing? So watch enough reality TV, listen to different genres of music, or simply spend enough time on your phone and it won't take long before you hear words like fam, lit, or tea. And while one of the youngest generations is claiming it as their own, several linguistic experts I spoke to said all of these terms have roots to a darker time in American history. Take a listen.
Attractive female.
Baddie.
Old person.
Spend enough time on TikTok and you might assume some of the app's youngest US-based creators are speaking a different language.
The first word I want to help translate is chopped.
Yeah, I know Chopped. It's the show on the Food Network.
Never give up.
What's been dubbed as Gen Z slang, words like cap, riz, drip, and unk.
The unk joint is the most egregious because they really try to tell us what unk meant.
Unk does not mean uncle, guys. Unk does not mean uncle. Does anyone know unk does not mean uncle? What does it mean, Wyatt?
This is what you call loud and wrong. Unk 100% means uncle. But I really want to see where this goes.
It means uncool, but like...
Uncool?
What? No one...
Guess they took the first 3 letters of the word and decided it was an acronym for something?
uses that. No one uses unk to say, like, you're uncool. Like, people just say, like, because you're old. Like, you're unk. So I don't really know. I think people just, that shows you that people can just make their own definitions for these terms. They don't really.
Y'all literally be taking everything that we like to say and literally just be changing it. Because what do you mean unk means uncool? It has never meant that. Unk is short for uncle.
It is a term of respect and endearment, 100%.
We call people that's older and don't really want to call them pop, so we call them unk. Actually, I don't even really want to explain what unk means, but this is what black people mean when we say when y'all get a hold of our terms, y'all make it corny because y'all never use it correctly.
Many linguistic experts say it can be traced back far before Gen Zers were even alive. Some words harken back centuries to enslavement.
They did not need to go back to slavery to prove that white people have been still enslaved forever.
Born out of struggle and trauma, some linguists say the language was often used to speak in plain sight, but not be understood by outsiders. Today, many of those words are identified as African American language, also known as Ebonics or AAVE, African American vernacular English.
It's so funny because Ebonics used to be a bad thing. The way black people speak used to be viewed negatively until white people started saying black words, and all of a sudden it's hip and trendy and acceptable to society.
Necessarily say that no one else can speak it, but what I do say is it comes from those people that created it.
Sandra Lanehart, a linguistics professor at the University of Arizona, wrote the Oxford Handbook of African American Language to address its misconceptions and push the boundaries on how we define language.
There isn't one English. New Zealanders speak English, Australians speak English.
Yeah, but it's only viewed negatively with how black people speak English. We're the only people that they have a problem with how we say things or how we enunciate anything. Everybody else can do their own thing judgment-free, but due to the racism in America, black people receive all this criticism and judgment when they really want to sound like us anyway.
Out of California, where the storm continues over Ebonics.
Following the Ebonics controversy of 1996, in which the Oakland, California Board of Education recognized Ebonics as a primary language to improve literacy, a firestorm ignited around the country with debate about the language's endorsement. It's characterized by unique grammar.
Good becomes guh. With becomes whiff. Instead of he's at the park, he be at the park.
Playful pronunciation patterns and regional vocabulary with cultural significance. In the internet era, it spread quickly through music, pop culture, and on social media.
Since when did non-black people start saying unk?
Right.
And then y'all saying y'all using it wrong. When did this happen? When did this happen?
Some people have been praised by its use, while others have been chastised.
I think the source of it, the inspiration, is coming from African American language. And I think we have to be careful. First of all, not all slang is African American language, and African American language is most definitely not slang. And so I think there's a beautiful Venn diagram that we could draw here.
So what is the line drawn between Gen Z imitation and celebration of language and all-out theft?
Attribution is that line, right? So in one sense, I think it's completely reasonable and fine that a person would do as historically has been the case, borrow from like marginalized frames or other points of intersection across time, right? But it doesn't make any sense to me that you can hear a word and then say that word sounds cool or is interesting. Let me never look into it and just start saying it.
Definitely that as well. Not look into it, not understand the history of it, not who originated it, and never giving credit for it. So adopt the word, completely change the meaning of it, and act like you made it up and everybody else is wrong.
We absolutely need to start gatekeeping our culture. It's gotten to a point where white people feel so entitled and comfortable taking Black culture, especially AAVE, and whitewashing it to the point where they think they own the terminology and the uses of something to redefine what it means. But you are stealing Black speak, trying to make it something else, and telling us that unk means uncool.
Seems strange to me.
And when the origin of a word is stripped away, linguistics advocates draw a direct line to the erasure of a community's history.
When you say that it's not about the language, it's
I
not
love that picture. That picture is mean as hell. Find that picture. Here lies Jim Crow. Oh, there we go. Went right past it. African-American man wearing a tuxedo, carrying a coffin, and here lies Jim Crow sign down the middle of the street as a demonstration against Jim Crow segregation laws in 1944. Nice.
Of a community's history.
When you say that it's not about the language, it's not that deep, what you're saying to me is hundreds of years of history, hundreds of years of ingenuity, hundreds of years of being genius don't matter.
So the next time a word becomes hip, maybe just look at where it came from and what it really means. So to reiterate, African American language is not exclusive to Black people, but knowing the history and attribution the language experts I talk to say is what's most important. Without that, some people are able to benefit while those who created it are often erased.
It's so interesting and fascinating to think about the root of these words that you just hear everyone using, but to actually dive in. And so many young people, I think, use a lot of these words and they're just saying it because their cool friends are saying it.
Yeah, words interchangeably, they change meaning over time, but where is it actually coming from is the real question.
Black people have always been the originators of cool, whether it's music, dance, style, or words. But we rarely get credit for our creations, especially in a digital age like now, where as soon as something hits social media, it's gone and adopted by everybody else without the originator ever being credited. We saw this with the Renegade dance.
Jalea Harmon, a 14-year-old girl from Atlanta, is the one who choreographed the dance in her living room and posted it to TikTok. But as bigger pages posted their own versions and got all of this attention and fame, her video only had 13,000 views. On TikTok specifically, most of the popular dances, like the Renegade, have come from young Black creators on smaller apps. Popular teens on TikTok see these dances when they're already gaining traction underground, bring it to their audience, and make it mainstream while taking all the credit. One of the most popular people on the platform, a girl named Charlie D'Amelio, who has nearly 30 million followers, is widely credited for starting the dance, and these white influencers continued to make money and get opportunities off of choreography they had no part in creating.
Make no mistake, it is not an appreciation of culture that we see happening when the things that we create are stolen from us. Our creations get stripped of Black faces, voices, and influence, and it gets rebranded into something new, away from its original meaning or origin.
The moment a Black artist started climbing the R&B charts, these vultures would swoop in. Label immediately calls their stable of clean-cut white artists. Rush released the sanitized version and flood white radio stations, while the original gets buried in segregated markets.
It was one of music's greatest ever injustices.
And usually this whitewashed, sanitized version of whatever it is gets commercialized and promoted to the world as anything but Black. It is 100% appropriation because we're never credited for it. And we've been dealing with this since we've been in this country. But shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting. And thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.